Hi, my name's John McCague. I'm a licensed real estate representative with Lepage RCR at Alliston. Been licensed since 2000. Putting together a series of short videos related to real estate. And in this one, I'm going to be talking about easements, encroachments, and right-of-ways. Those aren't just specific to rural, but they can also affect urban properties as well, especially in subdivisions. You'll want to know what the definition of each of those are. So an easement, general rights, it benefits the landowner of adjacent lands. So that could be an example of a utility company. There may be a utility easement across the back or the front of a property. What that means is that if there is an easement, there's a portion of that you're not allowed to disturb. It'll be a grassed area, most likely. You wouldn't be allowed to put up an outbuilding, like a shed, or you wouldn't be able to put in any permanent structure that would prevent the utility company from accessing their utilities in that area, within that area. How do you know where that area is? It's going to show up on your survey or your plan of subdivision. So it's important to have that information available to you at any time, because from time to time you are thinking about doing renovations and you want to make sure that you're not putting a renovation over top of an easement. Right-of-ways, that's specific rights, and what that allows is it benefits a specific individual, and it's quite often it allows a person to travel across land. So if their land doesn't have direct access to a road, there may be a right-of-way, and it will be a laneway that goes across someone else's property for the other landowner to gain access to their property. Right-of-way should be registered on a deed. You want to make sure that it stays and is grandfathered in. When it comes time to sell a property, if a property has a right-of-way, you want to make sure that that's disclosed, whether it's the property that the right-of-way runs across, you want to make sure that that's disclosed, or if it's landlocked and the only access is via a right-of-way, you want to make sure that that's disclosed as well. You want buyers to know that the property is affected by a right-of-way. Encroachments, that's where something from one property crosses over onto the property of another adjacent. It may not necessarily be on ground level. It could be up in the air as well. I'll use an example. There was a house here at Alliston where there was an encroachment by a utility. Years ago, when they put in hydro, they ran hydro to a building at the back of the property, and the power line actually ran on a angle, and it actually crossed over above the driveway of the property adjacent. From a day-to-day basis, that isn't an issue, but it needs to be disclosed. The buyer needs to be aware that there is an encroachment, and if they can't remedy the problem, it at least needs to be made aware of, because there could be a time where in the future the adjacent property owner that's affected by the encroachment may need to do something with their property, and this encroachment is affecting it, and it would be the responsibility of the property that is causing the encroachment to remedy the problem. Another example of an encroachment could be a fence line. And so that's why it's very important that property owners have surveys. Even if the survey only shows the boundary of your property, it at least shows you where your property line is, so that when you put up a fence, you make sure that the fence is at least right on the property line, if not just slightly onto your property. You don't want to find out after you've put up a very expensive fence that the fence is actually encroaching onto somebody else's property, because chances are you're going to be asked to move that fence, and that can be sometimes costly. So as I mentioned before, a lot of these items should be registered on a deed for the property. And the other thing that should be done is you should have an up-to-date survey showing these items. If you don't have an up-to-date survey, it's well worth the investment to have an up-to-date survey, because chances are at some point you're going to be thinking about selling the property, and in a lot of instances the buyer is going to request a copy, not only for their own file, but also in order to obtain financing in a lot of instances as well. If you have any questions regarding easements, encroachments, or right-of-ways, or you have questions regarding surveys, I did another short video about surveys, but if you have any questions about any of those items or any other real estate related issue, I get asked all the time by people, whether clients or just the general public, about some of these items. So I thought I'd put a series of videos together. But if I don't fully answer your question, there's only so much I can put on a video. But if there are more specific questions and specific to your property, feel free to contact me. There's nothing I like better than talking to people about real estate. Real estate is a real passion of mine. I've been in real estate since 2000. Born and raised just outside of Alliston, rural background, agriculture. The type of business that I do both urban and rural. I do residential, condo, farms, vacant land, investments, commercial, all those. I have extensive knowledge in all those areas. The areas that I look after: Simcoe, York, Peel, and Dufferin counties. Other counties as well, but those are the four that I focus on. Primarily Simcoe, just because that's where my office is. Feel free to contact me. One of the greatest compliments a realtor can receive is a referral of family or friend. I'd love to hear from them. If they want to contact me, that would be wonderful. I'd love to hear from you as well. Ways of contacting me: in person, 7 Victoria Street West in Alliston. My Toronto line is 1-866-772-5368. Local, 705-435-3000. Direct is 705-791-2221. Email is johnmccague@lepage.ca. My website is www.johnmccaguesells.ca. And my Facebook business page is @JohnMcCague Thanks very much for your time. I hope you find this informative, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks very much. Bye for now.